Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother...
Welcome to the party, pal!
Welcome to another edition of Yippee-Ki-Yay, Mother Podcast. I'm Ralph Quartucci.
I'm Sean Paul Murphy.
I'm Debbie Murphy.
I'm Michelle Wojciechowski.
I'm Brad Barowie.
I'm John Quattrucci.
And I'm Drew Gould.
Well, welcome everybody. Hope you all had a good week. John, also sometimes known as Jack, and that's how we might differentiate him from Sean. Sean and Jack.
I like it.
Before we get into the movie that Debbie has brought to the table, I want to try something a little different. Drew had a nice idea. I'd like each one of us to kind of recommend something they may have seen this week or want to see next week. We don't have to get in depth about what you saw, but just something you might want to recommend to us. Could be a movie, could be a book, some TV show you're watching during the pandemic. So let's start with Drew, since it was his idea.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I actually saw two very different movies this week. One of them was one I've been meaning to watch for a long time, called Starting Out in the Evening, with Frank Langella as a writer in his 70s who's approached by a graduate student who wants to resurrect his career and maybe a little bit more. It's a fine film, but if you like Frank Langella, it's an amazing performance. And if you don't know who he is, then you should check it out. And the other one I saw was called Get Duped, which was about a bunch of kids hiking across the Scottish Highlands being hunted by people who want to kill them because they hate children. And that was it was a little lighter.
Wow. That's light. That's light.
A little lighter.
I saw a review of that. I saw something about that. Nice.
Yeah, Get Duped. And the original title was Boys in the Wood, Boys with a Z, which is a better title.
Yeah.
That's what I saw this week.
All right, good. Wojo and Brad.
We watched Cobra Kai on Netflix.
Good one.
The first two seasons. And they've already shot the third season, but they're deliberately not putting it out until early next year because they want to make sure everyone had time to see it. Have they not heard of binge watching?
Yeah.
It took us like a week to watch it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But
they're only half hour.
if you like the Karate Kid movies, it's a neat take on it. It's so they do some flashbacks to it, but it's just, you have to suspend disbelief, just kind of like you did in the Karate Kid movie. But we liked it a lot.
I haven't seen it.
I saw the first season.
Is it dramatic? Is it funny?
Yes.
Oh,
and dramatic. It's good.
I wouldn't call it a comedy. I'd say like a
humorous. Yeah.
Yeah, but
like Slapshot?
No, Slapshot was funny.
This
is
classically
funny. But it's got it's got Ralph Macchio. It's got the guy who
Slapshot was a comedy.
William
his Nemesis. He's got the guy playing his Nemesis.
He went by Billy Zabko in the Karate Kid movie out, but
and he's great in there. He's great. Yeah. I mean, you really feel for that guy.
And the second season's even better, I think, than the first.
Oh, good. Can't wait to see that.
It really goes over his character and the character development.
At first I was a little skeptical because I felt like they were just kind of rehashing a lot of the stuff from the old, like redoing it as adults. And then,
well, they got to catch you up. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it started to kind of build.
That's good. Now, is that for both of you, Brad, or is that you got both recommendation for the two of you, or do you have something?
Oh, well, that was the main thing we've been watching, but I mean, as far as the last week,
The Hate You Give.
We did watch that.
Did you see The Hate You Give? Oh, God, that's a good movie.
So you're recommending that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, well, I guess we'll move on to the other pair, Debbie and Sean.
Well, the comedian that I found, my cousin recommended this guy, Tom Pappas, on Netflix. Very funny.
He's hilarious.
Have you seen him?
No.
We were laughing.
Tom Pappas.
Watch the rest of it.
Well, our big movie experiences was...
Wait, stop. You don't have no book to recommend, Sean?
What?
You don't have a book to recommend?
I would recommend this book, which has been doing extremely
You know what? I left that wide open for you. God almighty.
Do you ring the bell,
You don't want to recommend...
Wait,
the bell.
Camera three.
Camera three.
I want that
There
book.
you go. Bing, bing, bing.
Back to camera
Roger,
one.
I want that book. Can you hold it up?
We're really getting close
good.
to the 9-minute window.
There you go. 9 minutes. All right, Sean, you got
But
about to recommend
one more thing. But aside from recommending books, we took our granddaughters to see The Empire Strikes Back and The Avengers at the Benji's Drive-In.
Oh,
wow.
Their first time at a drive-in. They had a gas.
They love
Had they seen either one of them?
No.
Where's that, in Baltimore? Where in Baltimore is that driving?
Essex.
Oh, wow.
It's in Baltimore County, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Bowling
gotta go
Really
there.
take some
Consider
super
Bowling's quarters?
duper geeks.
Sort of that
It's sort of
part.
near Bully's
Yeah.
quarters.
Yeah, it's right
Yeah.
across the water from Bowling's.
But make
Quarters.
sure you
Yeah.
take mosquito repellent, like really a lot.
Don't you get one of
Okay.
those
I've been
things?
getting eaten up
Don't
a
you
lot
get one of
this
those
year.
curly things that you put
Yeah,
on the
green
gas and
curly.
light up?
Yeah, we
All
got
right,
those,
Jack.
but that didn't work.
Jack, what do
Okay,
you-
so two things. If you haven't seen it yet, the second season of an Amazon Prime show called The Boys.
Oh, yeah, it's coming out
yeah.
Friday.
If you haven't
I
seen
just
it,
finished the first season.
it is awesome. And
Yeah,
I also
it
tell you
is.
this, if you think it's graphic, you should read the graphic novels.
Yeah.
10 times
They toned
worse.
it down. It's graphic.
But it
right?
is great. The other thing I've been doing, and the reason why I did this was because he couldn't exist today. On YouTube, I'm watching a lot of Don Rickles.
Yeah.
And my wife and I were watching it, and I'm telling you, I was dying. It was just so funny. And the sad thing was he couldn't do his act today.
No.
No.
But it
There's
was
no way.
hilarious. And he picked on everybody, and
Yeah.
it was really funny. So if you get a chance, take a look on YouTube for that. But definitely watch The Boys. If you like really jerky superheroes, this is your
Listen, it's the only superhero show I like watching.
Yeah.
It's really
Most
good.
people who don't.
And as far as Don Rickles,
Yeah.
Don Rickles was up for the part that Rodney Dangerfield got in Caddyshack.
Oh, I didn't know
love
that.
Dangerfield,
Really?
but
Yeah.
Rickles.
Rickles would have been good
Debbie
too.
and I saw Rickles.
You hockey puck.
Not
Yeah.
before he died, not long before he died. We saw Rickles, and he was hilarious. But YouTube, what I recommend with Rickles are those appearances on Johnny Carson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the best. That's the best you're going to
Yeah.
see Rickles, I
He
think.
also-
Yeah,
So
Johnny
yeah,
Carson.
you're right. He could never not get away with it, but even I don't think he'd be appreciated today the way he was.
He was hilarious.
Yeah.
Reagan's inauguration. He was
Yeah.
hilarious at it.
So, all right, my two. One I've
Well, didn't
watched.
he have to ask Obama to hand him his keys and say, "Get my car for me"?
Oh my God.
That stuff kills. That stuff kills.
God.
I'm going to recommend one thing. The other thing I haven't watched, and I can't wait to see it. First thing I'm going to recommend is the HBO docu series called The Vow. Has anybody seen this?
The Vow?
Called The Vow, about the Nexium cult.
Oh, I'm
Sex
looking
cult?
forward to that.
The only thing I don't like about these things is they're docu series, so you have to sit through all these six episodes.
Yeah.
But it's about this self-help group that became a cult, and one of the top guys in the cult became a whistleblower, and he recorded everything.
Oh,
And
right.
and everybody knew they were being recorded because they were all trying to
this
protect
was
each
the
other.
sex cult, Allison Mack from
That one.
Smallville?
Yeah, I've only got to. It's on every Sunday,
Okay.
and I saw a second one on Sunday night, and it's just awesome. It's a great series. The movie I want to go watch, and I can't wait to see it, and I can stream it. Is Ted, Bill and Ted's
Oh, yeah.
Face the Music.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see
Yeah.
that.
It was fun.
That's going to be at the Benjis.
It's at the Benjis last week.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to go see that at the drive-in.
It's a
My
double
son Dylan
feature
called
with,
me from Wisconsin with a picture at the drive-in watching Jaws. And I was like,
Dude.
living the dream right there. All right. That was nice. I like that, Drew. I like that.
Yeah.
Things we see during the week. It's kind of nice.
Good.
And that gets us to 9 minutes. Nobody's watching now. Now
So
we can
now
do
everyone
our thing.
shuts off. Thank you
I
for
know we can
watching,
talk about
everybody. We'll see you next
Now we
week.
can do whatever we want.
Now we can talk about
And here we go. Debbie has brought this movie to the table. Debbie, what's the name of the film?
Spitfire Grill.
Spitfire Grill. Okay, Debbie, do you want to do a little description? How do you want to?
This movie.
Then we'll ask you why. Then we'll ask you why you brought it to us.
I brought this film because I saw this, after I saw this film, I took my daughter to it. She was 14 and I was 40 something or whatever. I don't know.
25.
Yeah, 25 or 40. And I'm watching this film, and after it was over, I burst into tears, crying. My daughter was crying. The couple in front of us were crying. Everybody in the were sobbing. And I was curious to see how I felt about it, rewatching it. And it wasn't that sad.
You're not allowed to go that
I'm
far.
glad you said that
I
because
don't
I was
know
crying
why.
for a different reason. It cost me $2. That's what I was crying about.
Well, it cost us $3.
Right. $2.99. I'm sorry. I round down all the time.
I think you should wait to offer your opinion till Debbie is done.
Oh, did I? Oops,
I
sorry.
think you jumped
My
the
bad.
shark a little
Do
there.
we have a trailer
We have
for
a
it?
trailer for
Yes,
it.
we do. We do. Hang
A
on.
preview?
Hang
I wanna
on,
see a
everybody.
preview.
Here it comes.
You suppose if a wound goes real deep, the healing of it can hurt almost as bad as what caused it?
Well, how much do you really know about this girl?
Well, you've met the warden up here at the prison. Well, he called and asked about a girl looking to get a fresh start here. Now, Hannah's got that extra room upstairs, and she needs the help.
Don't turn around, but she's coming right down there to his table. What's she doing here? I saw her coming.
Say, Hannah, did I forget to mention that I've been in prison down in Wyndham for the last 5 years? And I only got sent to solitary 3 times.
Imagine that.
That first night when you come into town, I had this feeling that something really good was going to happen.
Glacia and I both having trouble imagining just who exactly it was taught you how to cook.
Her coming here has been a godsend for Hannah. And for me.
Is it going to take finding Hannah dead in a ditch for you to see the truth?
If you condemn that girl without proof, I'll quit you for good.
I'm so afraid of what's going to happen.
I thought in some place small like this, there might just be a chance. But after what I done, it don't matter where I go.
Castle Rock Entertainment presents a story of friendship, of hope, of finding a place called home.
All right. The only suggestion I have is we all do our podcast in fake Maine accents.
Oh, that sounds hot.
That sounds hard. Yeah.
Can't get there from here. Okay, Debbie, I'm sorry. So give us a little recap of the film, please.
Give them the
Okay, it's so sad. This girl, she's in prison. She comes out of prison into this town, this Maine, and I thought it was just very sad. I felt sorry for her the whole movie. It's just a poor, like Charlie Chaplin film. You know, you felt sorry for her. But then, you know, to watch it later on, not so much.
Wow. What? Now, wait a minute.
You know,
How long had it been since you, Debbie, how long had it been since you saw it the last time?
20 years.
Okay, so
been
it
that
came out
long.
in 96, right? This was a Sundance darling, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right?
and it was
It was
great.
it won the audience prize.
Wow. It's
like-
budgeted at $6 million. It made 12, which,
Well,
according to Sean, is not making enough money.
You
So you
got to
saw
get
it back
that theatrical box office 3
yeah, 3
times.
times.
And
3 times a lady.
okay, that was a very brief recap. So she comes and changes the town, right? Basically,
Yeah.
he changes the town. She convinces them to sell the grill by having a $100 essay contest. The whole town, you know, you get the one mean lady who doesn't like her at the
The
beginning.
postmistress.
The busybody.
Yes, right, who reads everybody's mail. You know, a lot of small town characters, a lot of good actors in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Will Patton, Ellen Burstyn. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the lead actress.
Allison Elliott.
Percy. Allison
Marsha
Elliott.
Gay Hayden.
Marsha Gay Hayden, whose character went on to play the same lady but older in the movie Mist
Yeah.
in
She
Maine
was
as
nicer
well.
when she was younger, though.
So,
Wait a minute. I want it, Ralph. Debbie gave a brief, but you got to talk a little more about this, Debbie. This is your movie. I want to hear more from you.
She doesn't want to now.
Oh, now she doesn't want to talk about it.
she let the
think
cat
it's
out of the
fun.
bag. She
It's a long
realized
movie.
it was.
You want me to talk about it?
No, I'll just say this. You know, the one part, you know, the guy that, the villain, Nahum, the
Will,
guy,
Yeah.
Will Patton.
Nahum was his
Yeah.
name, right?
Yeah.
And I remember hating this guy when I first saw it. But, you know, when I saw it just the other day, he's almost like a hero to me because And I'll tell you why. Who in their right mind, after he was a perfect idiot, you know what I mean, doing all this, treating his wife so poorly and everything.
He was a husband.
Yeah. But then again, when it all came down in the meeting, he proclaimed in front of the whole town that he was a big jerk.
And then went,
when he,
meh,
Whatever.
Who's going to do that?
There was
right?
a lot of mad going on in this film, though. There was a lot of like just things just happening, and like even a spoiler alert, even what happens to her at the end, just like just happened.
Well,
I mean,
it seemed kind of unnecessary to me.
Well, and Joe asked her to marry
I was
him.
livid
You know, here.
when they killed her off. Spoiler alert. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. It's been 20.
All right, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Okay,
Wait a minute.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, first of all, I was thinking about what you guys were going to be thinking of this movie while we were watching it. And I was kind of okay with it for a while because I've seen these. It reminded me of a movie that's been based on a book of literature. That's how they unroll them. This is what they do. This is how they tell it. When they killed her off, I was so pissed off. And I thought, and then after, I just didn't care about anything. I was so mad. I was like, this is such bullshit. What? They're killing her. They set you up to think certain things are going to happen. And then they're like, oh, well, look, she's dead. And oh, I'm so surprised. Sack Man hiding in the woods is, you know, the guy from Vietnam. I'm really surprised. And I was mad.
Well, I have okay. So the movie was financed by a Christian group,
A Catholic, yeah.
Yes.
Catholic.
right? And I'm
So
ignorant.
they had to
I'm,
kill her off because
no, I'm asking the Catholics in the room or the Christians in the room. Is this an allegory or metaphor for something? Because
No, I don't. Well, maybe, but
I mean,
Yeah, it
is she supposed to be Christ? Everybody
Yeah,
dies
'cause
for
she
her
didn't come
sins,
back
or
at
she
the
dies
end.
for everybody's sins, and the town is all.
she does die for everyone's sins.
No.
No, I didn't
Was
see that
Christ
at all.
molested by his father? Don't think.
Christ was tortured. I mean, he was tortured and
But
beaten.
not by
and-
his father.
No, I understand.
It was an
That's a
uncle.
different movie.
I mean, an allegory doesn't have to be spot on, does it? It could be,
True,
fringes. Now, because Marsha Gay Harden's character was wearing crosses the whole time. They had all those scenes in the church talking about no minister. I don't know. I just felt like they were going for something.
All
and when
those scenes in the church. You mean the 2 scenes in the church?
I'm saying, but they made a big deal out of it. And then the scene where
the
Eli,
closed down church that they couldn't afford.
whoever the guy in the
You're kind of reaching
But
with
it was
the allegory,
definitely
Ralph.
an allegory.
okay,
I hate
the
to tell
burlap bag guy who meets her on the
Had a
in
big
the
beard.
meadow and puts his hand on her head. I mean,
Yeah.
he looked
That
like
was-
Jesus. That guy
that-
looked like Jesus, right? With the
It's
beard and
Christy, yes.
I think it's more
He
about
wore a
redemption.
different kind of sackcloth.
It's more about redemption.
yes, I
That's
think
what it's
I
about.
think
Yeah,
she was
you
supposed
got
to be the Christ figure, and she died for everybody.
I
That's
don't
what
know.
I think.
That's the only reason I could think of why she would have to die. Like
Right.
I remember when I first saw this movie in the 90s, and I'll talk about later why I saw the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say you actually went to this movie.
well, I can talk
Who
about that
were you
later, but-
dating then?
Yeah.
Debbie
It wasn't
recommended it.
that at all. But it was like a surprise that she died, but also a kind of why did that have to happen?
Right.
And then I found out who was behind the movie, and I thought, I guess it's supposed to be something like she died for their sins, or she sacrificed herself so that Will Patton could find his brother, so that they could save the. It didn't really add up to me. But okay, so the reason I was interested in the movie is because you mentioned it was an Audience Award winner at Sundance. So this movie got made by the Sacred Heart. They usually produced books, and they then hired this guy to write and direct it from MacGyver. And
He was the creator of MacGyver.
Excuse me, the creator of MacGyver. So he wrote and directed this movie, and they took it to Sundance, and Castle Rock bought it for $10 million, which is an unbelievable amount of money to buy an independent film for. And this is the mid-'90s where independent film's the hottest thing. So it was one of those movies I was like,
Gotta be good. Gotta be good.
It's got to be something. So
Yeah.
I was curious to see it. And then the next year, I actually went to the Cannes Film Festival, and I learned that there are movies that are really, really exciting when you see them at the festival.
Yes.
In that environment.
Yeah,
And
that
then you
happens.
leave and you're like, who cares? That's not
Yeah.
true of all of them. Like I saw movies like LA Confidential. That's still a spectacular movie.
Right.
But I think it's weird to think of people getting so caught up in this experience, they spend $10 million.
Well, you do. I went to Sundance, and you do get jazzed up when you're in that situation.
And it's fun.
The hype is so strong that you just everything becomes big.
When you guys name drop film festivals, should that be a bell also?
No, because
I did see
who
played Bela Lugosi in Ed Wood. What's that actor's
Martin
name?
Landau.
Martin Landau.
I saw him at Sundance.
Oh, so it's
I
somebody
bumped him.
famous.
He was buying a diamond ring for a very young woman.
I have a question for Drew.
Yes.
You were at Cannes. Did you come in contact with any major stars?
I came in contact with a lot of major stars. I got in trouble. I got thrown out of 2 hotels.
Contact?
Whoa, wait a minute. Why'd you get thrown? This is okay. Another podcast.
It's pronounced Cannes.
You're right.
And I was there for the 50th anniversary. And
Like
for the
pork and
celebration of
beans
the
are in,
50th
huh?
anniversary, the president of France was going to come and give a speech. But Howard Stern was there, and they were promoting his movie Private Parts. So there was a gigantic inflatable fart man balloon in the water off the Croisette. I saw this happen. All I saw was a bunch of boats, like little motorboats, came up to this balloon and looked like they were pointing guns at it. And it turns out what happened was the French government said to Paramount, you got to take this down because the president's coming. We don't want Fart Man in the shots. And the Paramount was like, we paid for this. We're not doing it. So the French Coast Guard or Navy or whatever, they went out, they pointed machine guns at Howard Stern's Fart Man balloon, and Paramount said, okay, we'll take it down until he leaves.
No such thing as bad publicity. Oh my God.
It was ridiculous.
Oh my, why? Okay. You got kicked out of hotel. I don't, maybe.
I can tell you
another podcast.
stories, and I was on live television after the Michael Jackson screening, and it was an exciting time. But we're talking about the Spitfire.
Right. So this comes out of Sundance. And by the way, did Roger Ebert review this one?
Yes, he did.
Good.
Let me go out of the full screen mode, and I will give
a
you
brief synopsis. We don't have to read the whole review.
Not just the first paragraph.
No, Sean, you can use Chris's 5 minutes. Go ahead.
We don't know who Chris is, but
We don't know who Chris is, but we know
I'm
who
sorry.
Uncle
Al's
Alex.
cavalcade of cult.
I gotta edit that.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Roger Ebert, the Spitfire Grill. 2 out of 4 stars, or is it 2 out of 5?
2 out of 4?
2 out of 4. Yeah.
That's one too many.
The Spitfire Grill won the Audience Award at this year's Sundance Film Festival, which says less for the audience than for the movie. It's an unabashedly manipulative, melodramatic tearjerker with plot twist that Horatio Alger would have been embarrassed to use, and the fact that it's so well acted only confuses the issue.
That's a very good point. Because the acting, Ellen Burstyn's great.
Yeah. Oh, she's
Will
fabulous.
Patton is good. Is good. Even the guy playing Joe, who I don't know who that is. In the main.
You don't know who that is?
No.
You double dip the chip. You put the chip in, then you ate it, then you dipped it again.
What's that from?
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Oh, that's. Oh.
You double dip.
I gotta go watch it.
He went on to bigger and better
That's
things.
all I
Then.
could
Good for
think
him.
about.
I'm happy for him.
dip the
That's
chip.
great. But I'm
Well,
not gonna
here's
lie. Okay.
I saw the film once again. I saw the film in the theaters when it came out, only because I saw every movie.
Right.
So I did see this
One of those
one.
years?
It had a reputation coming in, and I had forgot. I remember liking it, but when she died, when they cut to the church thing, I'm like, oh, this is a fake.
Right. I thought that too.
I thought, oh, this is a fake. She's going to be getting married or something to happen.
Or Joe's dad died, something like that. Yeah.
Until it's like, and then when it's like, well, anyone want to say anything about Percy? I thought they were going to, like, anyone has any objections. But I didn't believe she was really dead till I saw the call.
That's so funny because I never doubted that.
Well, the way they were filing into the church with their heads
Yeah, I was
down.
pretty sure.
That's
Well,
sad.
that's why I thought it was a
when she was dead in the.
Well, Will Patton
Well,
had
wait,
a
her
lie.
eyes were open. That's what
Yeah,
her
her
eyes
eyes
were
usually they
open.
give you
Her
some.
eyes
Will
open
did
at
that.
the
They give
end.
you her-
Wait,
the
can I
eyes
say,
open,
now,
something.
Eli, the burlap guy, that was Ellen Burstyn's
Eli,
son,
the
right?
burlap guy.
That's right.
So he was Will
Eli.
Patton's cousin.
Brother.
That
That's
guy-
why
No,
Will
first
at the end
cousin.
said, called him out. Said
No,
Eli.
because Ellen Burstyn was Will Patton's aunt.
That
Right.
makes Eli's
Right.
first cousin.
So Eli wasn't
you're
the
right.
husband, not her husband. He was her son.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
I got very confused about that. And then there was
Now,
a guy.
here-
There was a guy chewing bark, the
Yeah.
cancer tree scientist guy.
yeah.
That's a different guy.
That's a different
Weird.
burlap guy,
Different
right?
Guys.
No,
And
he
he just
wasn't a
disappeared. He didn't
burlap
go-
guy.
He wasn't
What?
burlap guy.
He wasn't a burlap guy.
Well, he was just
He was
eating
a bark guy.
Yeah, he was
crappy
eating bark.
and he had a crappy car.
Yeah,
all I
you're
remember.
confusing the bark guy with the burlap.
I definitely thought they were the same guy.
Now, here's what I thought about the film in the sense that, it's sort of, if she'd have lived and there'd been a young doctor or veterinarian or an architect, it could have been a Nicholas Sparks novel.
It could have been a Hallmark movie.
That's what I thought.
What it really
put some snow.
Really reminded me of was the movie My Dog Skip. Did anyone see that?
No.
Where they
sure.
That movie wanted you to cry so bad.
Yeah.
They literally threw everything possible at you to get you to
Well, 9 times
I
out
saw
of
it
10.
in New York, and I'm sitting there like, I'm not going to fall for this. I'm not going to cry. I'm talking about My Dog Skip. And eventually it got me. When
Look,
the dog weekly tried to get up on the bed, I'm like, okay.
Any dog movie is, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be a horrible end.
And I felt this movie was doing the same thing. Though I will say, it is, as Ebert said, incredibly manipulative. But I got a little teary-eyed.
Okay.
I got a little teary-eyed.
When?
The last time I saw it.
This one?
Oh.
Yeah. But I was, but there was
What
one of the
scene?
Does he realize you just wasted 2 hours of your life? What are you crying
I
about?
saw it for the second time. I said,
thought the
"Well,
dog-
No, look, I know I'm joking about it.
Old golden
I tried
retriever.
to. I thought the woman was very engaging. The woman playing Percy was cute, and I thought her character was good. The whole running out into the woods and the axe thing, and then when it's like the sucker punch was when she died.
Yeah.
That was a sucker punch. Like, what was that for? There was no reason for that. Because
I agree.
I thought it was like, it was a cheap, manipulative way to make you cry. Because it should have ended with her helping everybody. And then they bring in that woman at the end who wrote the essay.
Yeah.
It was just a carbon copy of her, basically. It was the same.
Right.
I don't
Her
know.
dying was
But her
the
baby
difference
lived.
between-
Her baby did live.
Yeah.
Her dying was the difference between this movie making $12 million and $30 million.
You might be right. Because it did.
Yeah.
It was a sucker
Yeah.
punch for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know
Brad
this,
immediately
but-
said, why did they kill her? Because I, of course, like I said, was mad. And Brad, there was no logical reason for them to kill her.
But see, I wasn't mad at all because I was completely disinterested throughout.
This is what I mean. Okay.
She was early on. She's saying, "Oh, this is a really nice movie." And I'm like, "Yeah." Uh-huh.
What was her
I was just
boyfriend's
gonna
name?
say-
What was the guy that was hit? The guy that asked her to marry. What was his name?
Joe.
Joe.
No.
Joe
guy
the
who asked
carpenter.
her to
Was Joe
marry
a
her
carpenter?
after he had
Maybe?
seen her like for 10 years.
I thought she was going to
And
have.
they hadn't even kissed? Yeah, because that was
I thought she was going to have a baby. I thought she was going to have an immaculate conception, and instead of her being Jesus, she was going to be Mary, because it was Joe, who I think was a carpenter actually, and he's trying to marry. He doesn't care if they have a baby. He doesn't want to.
Oh my
He's
God,
fine.
she was married.
I think that's what I mean. I think this was a whole allegory you guys are all missing. And
If you didn't know
I'm
a
not that
Christian
smart.
group produced this movie, you wouldn't be saying that. It's only because
Maybe.
you know
You may
who
be
produced
right.
it.
Maybe
Now
you're right.
coming
Well,
up
they
with all
did
this
say
stuff.
that
You see
affected
the
the
cross
box office.
earrings? Did
Okay,
you
but
see
that was
them?
okay. But that was in my head. What am I supposed to do? Not think that?
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you
His
what I
name
think.
was Joe. For goodness
First of
sake.
all, this is a movie I would never watch because it was a Lifetime movie. It reminded me of Northern
I found it very
Exposure.
hokey.
I thought the girl was excellent, but the whole time in the movie, I'm like, would you wash your hair? Because her hair was awful the whole movie. And I have to tell you something, and it's really interesting because the thing I actually liked about the movie was when she died, because it was the only thing I had no idea was coming. And when it happened, I was totally shocked that it happened. I was like, I cannot believe they just did that. Because even when he was holding her, her eyes were open.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And then they go
Just
right
like
to the
martyrs.
funeral. So that shocked me. But I was like, again, you know how I rate these movies. Could I watch this again? Not in a billion years. Could I watch
I
this
just kept
again?
looking at the thing going, oh, I got another 35 minutes. Oh, I got another 25 minutes. I mean, I know.
kept
I
thinking
shouldn't do that. I should be
Chip,
more
you double
open.
dipped
I'm
the
sorry.
chip. I kept thinking that.
I should be more open-minded.
Well, I
Here's
noticed
something
that
I thought would have helped the
Claire is
movie.
the woman at the end who came in,
Yeah.
the new Percy. She had the same teeth as Matthew McConaughey in that.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah,
didn't
I
do
mean,
her
Stop
own
the thing that Matthew
voiceover.
McConaughey used.
She didn't do her own voiceover. I saw the credits. Someone else did her voice.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they had that big.
Difficult.
Now, the guy playing the sheriff with the terrible Maine accent, he's been around. He's done a lot.
They,
Wait a minute.
they
Wait,
all
who had a
bad
good Maine
accents.
accent?
Well,
well,
that was one of the things that bothered me the
okay,
most.
they all did. They all
had
had terrible
accents.
accents.
They kept joking about her accent being Southern,
right?
And then she was from Ohio, but they never.
Debbie, I'm sorry we're doing Debbie.
She was coming from Kentucky.
That's right.
Debbie, I have to admit we wouldn't be
still.
jumping on it if you didn't admit that you made a mistake watching it the second time. Okay,
now it's open season, Deb.
You gave us license to do this.
I think the problem is that, and this is what Ebert talks about in his
I warned her that people may not like this movie.
And guess what? Right after we saw it for the second time, I said to myself, what?
But that's okay because you thought about it with 20 years ago eyes, and now you see it again. I
was thinking about watching it with
Debbie. In fairness, Debbie, the whole reason for this podcast was to bring movies that we wouldn't normally watch. That was the whole reason for this. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it to go off the rails as much as it has, but that's the whole reason. And I think it's a good thing. And I'm glad you're taking it as well as you are. I appreciate that. Drew, you were going to say something about Roger Ebert?
I was just going to say, I mean, Ebert touches on the most frustrating thing about this movie, which is that it's a well-made movie. It's professionally made.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a cast of excellent actors, most of whom acquit themselves in a very professional, just fine way.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to put this on Ellen Burstyn's finest performance list, but I believed her, and I believe she loved her old golden retriever. And the score was by James Horner.
Yeah, I saw
The
that.
score was good. It was very dated.
It has all the pieces, and it was probably one of those sets where it was really pleasant, and they thought they were making something special. And it's not even that it's awful. It's just not. It's not kind of anything. And I think it was Wojo said it would be a Hallmark movie. That's what I was thinking. That it would be the most handsomely mounted Hallmark movie ever done because it's shot on film and everything. So it's kind of the most disappointing movie for me, where the reaction at the end is, and I was doing what Ralph was doing, which is, I have 25 minutes left. I have this much left. And I was reminded of other movies. Like, I thought Will Patton was great, on a great streak in the 90s. And I was like, man, I think I'd rather be watching The Postman.
Yeah, I love Will Patton too.
That was hard.
He never does a bad job though, and all even
they're all professional. They're all great.
All of them. And then I get into this thing of, wait, the only African American they show is her partner in jail. There are no other African Americans anywhere near that town. I mean,
well, it is Maine.
I know it's Maine, but still.
Maine, yeah.
Yeah.
Maine.
Here's the thing.
Speaks in a cartoon.
I got a question for you guys. Now, I was thinking about this. How could we fix this film? Here's what I would do. I would have they're from Gilead, and there's a thing called the Balm of Gilead.
That's why they named it.
Yeah, that guy, that researcher, should have found the key to cancer in that Balm of Gilead. Now, see, that
you always go for the medical thing.
Would have worked.
Well, that's the sequel.
Let's fix this movie.
Weren't they all getting money from those trees?
What was?
While I was watching it, when she first leaves the bag out there and puts the axe in, I just came to me. I'm like, this would be so much of a better movie if the guy she's leaving for the food was a werewolf. You could essentially keep most of the same movie.
Yeah, I think I like that.
So much better.
Al, he's probably got a movie that does
Here's
that.
what I thought was going to happen. I thought Eli had her in the water, right? Eli's the one who has her in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Her eyes open. She dies. He puts her underwater and baptizes her. She comes up. She's alive. Her and Joe get married. They have a manger. Christmas. I had the whole thing figured out. And then they just the next shot they show is the wooden casket. She's dead. It's like, holy crap! They actually killed her.
Worked.
The person you're actually rooting for this woman because they treat her. Most of the town has treated her like crap, and then they completely. And normally you'd go, you know what? Hollywood movies are so predictable, and I wanted predictability in this one. I wanted her to win something.
I did too. You know what I expected? Well, I didn't expect her to die. I think established that part. I expected that. What was Ellen Barstyn's name in the movie?
Hannah.
Okay, that she was going to say to the girl, why don't you write an essay? Or, you know what I mean? And then the town was going to decide to give her the Spitfire.
Yeah.
She was going to marry Joe, and Eli was going to come back, and be accepted and blah, blah, blah. And once they, because if it's going to be predictable, make the whole thing predictable. Make it with a happy ending. This couldn't have even been a Hallmark movie because they killed her. Unless it could have been a Lifetime movie if the guy who killed her was
it Greg Evigan? No.
No, it was the guy who played Gonzo
Greg something, right? His name's Greg something, isn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. The guy who played Gonzo in Trapper John M.D. has played a killer on so many Lifetime movies that Brad and I always say if we see him in a movie, we're like, he'll be on Lifetime.
He's a killer.
They killed a woman. That's it.
He's always a creepy stalker X. Yeah.
I hung on as long as I did because I thought that Marcia Gay Harden's character and Percy were going to shack
Gregory
up.
Harrison.
Gregory.
He was going to leave. She was going to leave her husband, and they were going to be a couple lesbians running the Spitfire Grill. That's what I thought was going to happen.
The fantasy, isn't it?
You did not. You thought the woman was Jesus. Don't even.
Wow, I was raised. A lot of things were
Jesus was
racing
a
in my head.
lesbian now.
But that would
Okay,
have worked. That would have worked for me. And then they run the whole thing.
Maybe the better version of the movie is the town's whole thing is they like to find self-described white trash young women with or without children and redeem them. And that's eventually how it became The Handmaid's Tale.
This is a prequel. That's a
Handmaid's
long game.
Tale.
That's
Wait. Somebody leaves the town. A blind person leaves the town, and you discover that the town is sitting in the middle of New York City. And it's
so now it's like
M. Night
Shyamalan.
It's the villain.
All these are. Didn't Roger Ebert? Isn't that what he says that when you can talk about it, like if the conversation about a movie is better than the movie, there's something wrong with the movie, right?
Right.
So
I
think
like
that's
the werewolf idea, Beth. But this film got me twice.
Werewolf.
Because as I was watching it, I forgot because I hadn't seen the film in 20 years. I forgot she died. And, I was mad when she died the first time. And then when I'm watching it and she dies again.
you got hit twice. Only one. Shame on me.
How'd you forget that part?
Yeah, how would you fix this movie?
I think at the end, when Patton was there with the rifle, that the guy with the big burlap flipped up the burlap and he had like a couple of M16s and just cut him in half. You killed her! That's what I would have liked. Because this whole thing, it was his whole thing that got this girl killed. And then he goes up in the church. I'm going to admit I did everything. I mean, I didn't buy that for a second. And she murdered somebody, only got 5 years. That's pretty good.
Well, I got to tell you, that part pissed me off that he gets up at the end and says, I screwed up and did this. And everybody's like, yeah, okay.
But after all that
nobody
awful
got
stuff he
mad
did.
at all.
Brad
now he's going to admit
He
it.
just confessed that he basically was the cause of her death.
He killed her.
Wait a minute. Didn't
Oh,
his
well, we only
marriage
known her
end?
for a little while. It's okay.
Well, yeah, his
I think
marriage
she
was over.
accepted him back because there's like, I think they were back together at the end.
I don't know. They visited her at the.
They were split up. Like,
Yeah,
let's
that's
your
what
mom.
They visited her
I
at the
thought, too.
candy apple stand or whatever she was doing.
Now that was raising money for.
It was probably selling
prisoners
crosses.
at Wyndham Prison.
Say hi to your daddy. What if Joe had given her some of that bark and she just popped out of the casket alive?
Or a bowl of chips with dip.
Anyway, wow.
I like the father. The father is great. Joe's father.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some acting there, huh, John?
This is that.
Explained it.
Nah.
Right.
But didn't he go out and look at the sun or something? At the end, he got
3 minutes.
At the end, he came out and went like,
yeah, like he hadn't been out in forever.
Oh, I didn't even
Well,
catch
he had
that.
one of the letters. He was because everybody in the town had letters.
It
from
had
right?
3 endings. It really felt like it had 3 endings too.
So did Lord of the Rings.
Well,
It was
what's
just
amazing?
like Return of the King. This movie though, it reminded me of other movies about small towns that are much better. Some of them, like I remember, I really enjoyed My Girl, and that's one of those movies where I think I don't want to see that again because that might not work.
Oh yeah, that
But
was,
I mean, I think about movies like Bernie with Jack Black, or Get Low with Robert Duvall. Those
fried
just
green tomatoes.
Right.
You know what I thought of?
Real.
Salem's Lot.
Right.
They
Funny
felt
Farm.
real.
Funny Farm with Chevy Chase.
Better
Ever seen that one?
storytelling.
With a mail truck.
Misery.
That's Misery, right?
Misery.
Misery.
Stand by
Oh
me.
my God.
Debbie.
Really small
I
town.
don't know. I don't know if I'm happy or sad right now because this was awesome. I can't.
I actually liked a small town. I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought that was kind of neat. You don't see that every day.
Is that a real town? Is that a name of a real town?
I don't know.
No, it was filmed in 2 towns. I forgot what they were
It was
called.
in Vermont. They shot it.
Okay.
Oh, was it shot in Vermont?
Yeah.
So it's all a lie.
Can't get there from here.
It's not a lie. It's movie magic.
You're my wife. You're not that smart.
Feminine man would be too
Yeah. Oh my God! When he said that,
I couldn't tell if they were from Maine. Or
I liked him right up until that point.
Yeah, well,
I liked Will
Alabama.
Patton right up until that point when he said to his wife, "You're not that smart," and then he went and did the whole take the money out of the bag and shit, and then he turned into a dick. Because I thought he was kind of throughout the film he was trying his best, but he just kind of
apparently had the combination of the safe.
Right.
Yeah, like what the hell? And how did they think that she would have had it?
Well, that's the question, right? Who else knows the combination of the safe? But Hannah slapped her and was angry with her at that point. So she wasn't thinking straight either.
She was in jail, so she knew how to breathe.
Yeah, she walked right out of the jail.
Yeah, and what jail does like whatever those travel phone calls they were doing? Do they?
Oh, they
all do.
There's a lot of slave labor in this country.
Who do you think's building a wall, and who do you think does all this work at the airport? I mean, that's all prison.
That kind of thing. I know that they've made our license plates and stuff. No, I'm kidding. I didn't realize, and then she's talking and going on, and then I thought she's in jail. What the hell?
Well, there you go. That's Chekhov's travel agency because she ended up using it for the
that was a good contest because they threw you off a little bit. I like that.
So
I don't, Debbie. I'm shocked. I didn't hate it as much as everyone else did. I mean, my level of hate is probably about here.
No, hate is not. It's.
Oh no, not hate, Ralph. You've been starting before
It's
Debbie.
fun to make fun of the movie. I'm enjoying. 2
hours of my life. I'm not getting back.
Making for a great
to see the Jesus lesbians he was expecting.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be lesbians.
They almost went there. I was like, they didn't go there.
Ralph is just happy that they're not making fun of him this week.
So
true.
Ralph.
Well, we're making a point this week.
So I have a question. Did you think that she was the Jesus figure, or did you think Eli with the burlap putting his?
I thought
figure,
Eli.
Or was
I thought
everybody Jesus?
I thought Eli was the Jesus. I thought she was Mary.
Will Patton was Jesus.
I actually thought she was going to have a baby after she said she couldn't have one, and that Joe was going to be married to her. It was come on, it was right. And Joe, I actually, like I said, I think Joe was actually a carpenter in this movie.
Well, he did woodwork and he liked trees.
I don't know. He wasn't in that much.
If you know what?
And when you saw Eli at the end sitting in the diner with the full Jesus beard and the
Jack,
whole
what
thing.
are you shaking your head on? What do
The
you want
only
to
reason why
scream
you're saying
about?
that is because it was produced by a Christian group. You would not be saying that.
Okay. Anything.
But, I mean, it's crazy.
Like we said last week, you always bring something to a film that gives you an opinion of that film as you're watching it. All right.
You're making things that aren't there.
Well, we always bring Catholicism into all these reviews that we do, so I thought this would be
not on everything. I mean, everything. Oh, look at that.
Well, it's been everything. It's been the last few. We did Run Lola Run. We talked about
what was that, Sean?
Multi-dimensional stuff, right?
What I brought into this film was my reality television experience. I was thinking that guy Eli, man, if he was a real person, we would snap him up for a survival series, on Discovery.
Naked,
and I'm sure you would have done the
Woods or
same
whatever.
thing at National Geographic.
I thought he was the same guy that was chewing bark. I thought we were going to find out that he was actually the scientist.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I enjoyed making fun of the film. I'm not going to lie. And I love Debbie. Look at that smile. Debbie's taking it like I'm thrilled the way you're taking this, Debbie. I was worried.
Debbie, I will say this: you have sparked the most conversation of any movie that we've had so
great.
far that has gone in 50 different directions.
This is what it's all about. I love this. This is great.
I think from now on, like how Drew added, made the suggestion of us, doing some stuff in the beginning. I think that if the vast majority of us hate the movie, we ought to do, how could we make this movie better? I think that was
I'm hoping that a lot of us don't pick movies that we're all going to hate.
I have a suggestion. Can we start with I have an idea for one. Can we start with The Counselor? I think we could make that better.
We could get the guy who wrote MacGyver to redo that script.
He created it.
Yeah. Now let's not get carried away with suggestions.
We could get a Christian group to produce a new version of The Counselor, and it would be very different.
Hey, there's that whole there's a whole scene with the priest and the counselor. There's the whole stuff going on there.
Now, here's what I don't understand. I don't understand one thing about myself. How could I simply love this film when I first saw it? And then
you grew up. You changed.
It was a very female.
And it's a different time.
I get that. I get why you
I
like
do that
it
too. We've done that. Both of
I'm
us.
learning so much about, life.
It was an
I
emotional.
got it the other way around too, where I didn't like a movie, and somehow we watched it again and liked it more. I mean, it's And it just depends on where you are in your life.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You should change.
I still love the acting. I think that we're
the acting was good. I mean, it was.
It turns out the best part of the podcast about movies was the friends you made along the way.
That might be, suggestion. That might be a good podcast, is a movie that we saw when we were younger that we see now. That how has it changed? And this is a good example of what could happen.
I'm going to pick Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I bet you guys dress like that too.
Well,
I bet
I made him watch it.
You have to dress like that too.
Movie.
No, in reality, though, I was up getting ready to go to bed. I switched the channel, and Last Action Hero was on, that notorious film.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And I watched about 15 minutes of it, and it actually amused me. I saw it in the theaters and hated it. But it had so much negative
way ahead of
publicity
its time.
That's about a long time ago.
Was I influenced? Was it actually good? Those 15 minutes were pretty strong.
It's not good. It's not good, but it has stuff that is it's meta about movies that's so far ahead of its time. Like the one scene I remember from that movie is the villain is Charles Dance. He comes out of the movies and he kills someone. And then he waits for the sirens, and then he yells out, "Excuse me, I have just murdered someone!" And everybody in the buildings around is like, "Shut up! Go to sleep! Shut up!" Like, this is the real one, and you feel his excitement, and it's just, I mean, it's Shane Black, man. He's an interesting filmmaker, anyway.
Yeah, but it was a huge flop, but it definitely had its moments. So
they tried. It was McTiernan did that, right? That's McTiernan and Arnold at the height of their popularity.
Never recovered after Die Hard. Never came close to Die Hard.
What are you talking about? The 13th Warrior, a great period.
I was about to say, that's the only other film he did that I thought was great.
Predator. Didn't he do Predator after Die Hard, or was that before Die Hard?
No, Predator was 87, so it was before. Last Action Hero was like 89 or something.
No, I'm talking about Die Hard versus Predator.
Oh, Die Hard. Die Hard was the year after Predator.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you meant, okay, I thought you meant.
Well, he did Medicine Man, too, with Sean Connery.
Yeah, that had me on the edge of my seat.
All right.
Let's stick to this podcast.
Seat. Time for the reviews. So let's start with Bojo and Brad.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Drew?
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay, but not like passionately or anything.
Yeah. Jack?
I just didn't care.
Debbie, I'm going to go yippee-ki-meh. Right in the middle.
Twist.
Sean?
Yippee-ki-nay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give two results. The first one was a positive. The second time I watched it was a meh.
Oh, so 20 years apart.
Yeah,
20-something years?
Difference.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm
come
going
back
to
to
say
20 more years, you'll be all the way down.
I'm going to say, wait, cut the camera.
Ralph, we have no idea. We have no idea what you're going to say. What are you going to say?
You know what? The lesbian scene might have given it, but they didn't do it. They didn't pull the trigger, so to speak, and I'm a little upset about that.
It didn't deliver in the mist.
Oh my God.
Might have changed the review.
Thank you guys for trying to watch it. Anyway.
That was awesome. I have to say, I might actually watch this one. That was a good one. Not the movie, the podcast. I'm sorry, the podcast. John, do we have any
I just want to say,
subscriptions?
Debbie does have trivia.
That movie?
Oh, okay.
No, she doesn't. I'm just kidding.
That never goes well. Never goes well.
Trivia test.
Well, we don't have Uncle Al's cult status today, so we're just going to have to end this on that note. John, I know John's very upset.
Son of a nutcracker.
I think
I just need to make a public service announcement for you all. So you guys that came to the podcast late, everybody takes some alcohol swabs and wipe off your machines because I was tested positive for COVID-19.
Oh, no.
I don't want you guys to get it. So wipe off your screens.
We got to consider it done and stay healthy.
Yeah, and I usually call it a COVID-free episode. This is just a mostly COVID-free episode.
Well, stay healthy, get better. We're sorry you got it. Wait, are you saying COVID is real?
No.
Okay, just want to make sure we.
Did you say you have no symptoms?
I have no symptoms.
Well, that's good.
I was really sick last week, so I might have it. The test hasn't come in yet.
You know what might heal COVID is the balm of Gilead. We should
go up and choose some bark.
Thank you.
We got to get some bark.
Send that to the White House. That'll be the latest thing.
All right, enough.
I have a suggestion.
Okay. Yes,
I think you should let Brad pick the film, and I won't say anything to him. He has to pick the film.
All right, let's do that. Then I want to talk about one other thing.
Told him what film to pick before we started?
I did.
Yeah,
no, I haven't even thought about anything.
Go ahead, Brad. You got one, or you want to wait and
I
just
don't
tell
have
us?
one. I'll have to let you know.
Okay, so you'll be next.
Okay.
We do have, John had another good idea. Everybody's coming up with good ideas. That thing we did with the scenes, everybody pick a scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think we want to try one where we pick a genre of film, horror film, crime thriller, and we each bring a film and a brief description of the film we like in that genre.
Okay.
Sound good?
So in other words, we're going to have like 8 genres and we all pick a film that we like from it?
No,
Are you saying one genre per week and then everybody picks from
horror.
that genre?
We'll
And
pick
everyone
one
would
genre, and
Their
then
number one movie for that genre. And we'd all explain why that one. Why is that your number one sci-fi, number one Western, number one
because we always make the
lifetime
joke, what's your
slash
favorite movie? Right.
Hallmark movie.
Right, Hallmark. We always say, what's your favorite movie? I go, someone always says, is Jaws your favorite movie? I go, yes, it's my favorite movie about a man-eating shark eating people. I also I like crime films, all right? And I have a certain set there, and I like horror movies, and so I think that's kind of a nice way to
a little better when we're doing stuff like that.
I thought the scene thing was nice. We each see, right?
Yeah, I like that.
And then one I'd like to do is man crushes and lady crushes we've had in films.
What is it with you and man crushes?
I just, because there's a couple guys I want to talk about really bad.
Oh, my God.
Ralph, me too.
Yeah, thank you, Drew.
Oh, my God.
Drew and I are on the same page with this. There's a couple guys I really want to talk about, but and some ladies that I like. We talked about Terry Garr. That's a crush I've had and Sally Field. All these. There's some guys that have the same thing. So anyway,
for me, it's
nice
Mel
job,
Brooks.
everybody. Brad, pick a good
Mel
one.
Brooks.
Hopefully, Brad, pick a bad one because the bad ones go better, right?
Yeah, but you got to
I'm gonna pick one that I think is
with the bad one.
Debbie
Unless
didn't think
it's
she was
something
picking
I
one.
haven't watched in 20 years and now it's bad and I didn't like it.
Never know. Porky's
Could
Revenge,
open up
maybe,
our
or
boxes of
Porky.
DVDs and just go.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Porky's is a classic.
All right, so that sounds great. So Brad picks the
Or
next
is it
one.
a cult classic?
All right, everybody, stay healthy. Debbie and Sean, come on.
Yes,
Get yourselves
please.
better over
Stay
there.
healthy.
Okay?
Nice job.
Quarantine.
defending
Don't
your
go
movie.
anywhere.
Oh, we
Don't
don't.
go
We
anywhere.
don't go anywhere.
Okay. Stay healthy, guys.
All right.
All right. See you
I'll
next
see
week.
ya. Bye.
See ya.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.